So we'll start the second half of our program with presentations by our visiting scholars. And first is a special visiting scholar. He's sponsored by the Fulbright program. And Mr. Shinichi Ogawa is a practicing journalist who has written for a number of different well-known, paper mechanisms and also been on radio. You've got a radio show now, right?
Yeah.
So why don't I just let you take it away? Ogawa-san, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, I'm Shinichi Ogawa. I'm a Fulbright visiting scholar at Stanford and covering sustainability initiatives in the public and private sectors. I have 7 years of experiences as a TV reporter in Japan. And this picture looks like a little bit different guy, but I just had a haircut yesterday. So let me start with a quick introduction of myself. I started my career as a TV reporter covering social news in Japan, which includes murder cases, bank robberies, and Yakuza Japanese mafia stories as well. And in my second year, there was a heavy rainfall and 40 people died in my hometown. I reported at the front line of the affected areas from the very first day. This is the picture, and you can see the road is getting like a river and some rocks are falling down from the top of the mountain. And if I left here an hour later, I could have been caught in a landslide. So this is the before and after. The road is fully covered with mud only in one day. So my company decided to have a branch in the affected areas, and I ended up with living there for 1 year. And I realized the disaster takes longer to recover than we thought, and the climate change was real. So I moved to the economic department that started to cover the sustainability initiatives like EV bus startups or solar shell agriculture or TOTO's water saving technologies. However, it was difficult to change people's behaviors from media's perspective, so I decided to tackle it from the business point of view. So my mission here is to conduct my research on the sustainability strategies of US companies and governments. My approach is very simple. The first, having first-hand experiences. With my journalism background, I understand how much important to see and feel firsthand and to have in-person communication, networking as well. And second, find the differences between the US and Japan and then gain insights. So I take some classes from the School of Sustainability, which is the first new school in 70 years, and at Stanford, and I learned cutting-edge knowledge in many areas, like energies, waters, and CCUS and hydrogens as well. And I went to a lot of field research as well. I went to the giga solar power plants, and I saw the power lines and wind turbines and oil fields in California. And what I learned from here is the pie graph on the right side is very feasible, which shows the US energy resource in 2050 and says like 70% of the solar, 70% of the resources comes from the solar and wind power in 2050. Every time I saw this graph in class, I doubted it. But after this research, I convinced myself because the giga solar power plants are much bigger than I thought, and there are still a bunch of the place to deploy another power plants as well. And I had a lot of collaborations as well, like interviewing venture capitalists, entrepreneurs in the climate tech areas. I expanded climate tech trends on the radio as a commentator, and I tutored a student group in the climate tech guidathon ACES as well. And besides my research, I play for rugby for Stanford and local club, and we got the California title last month. Thank you so much.
So, Ogawa-san, as you're sitting down, I've got a question for you. Does the rugby contribute to sustainability?
That's a good question. I think the rugby is very good to understand how much important to have a diversity, because we have a lot of the type of people like tall and fast or fat or maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Hi everyone. Thank you for taking time. I'm Hiroaki Kaneko of Hamamatsu Thinking Bank. Today I'm going to talk about our company and my missions. I will then give you a little overview of our company. We are a company that has been in business over 70 years. We have $20 billion in deposit, $9.6 billion in loans, and about 1,700 employees. Thinking banks have no shareholders and made up for member organizations. We are limited by first all Shizuoka Prefecture and Aichi Prefecture. Basically cannot do business with customers in Tokyo and Osaka or overseas under special regulation like credit union. We put forth the issues of the community, client, and our company. As a result, we decided to turn our sense of crisis into action, saving the industry. This is not only for startups, but also for new business development for SMEs. In the past, financial institutions often provide loans to companies that have already established themselves as businesses. But now, we recognize that it is important to create a system and community that can work together with entrepreneurs from their ideas. We are currently building up a new brand called Fuse, Experience 021, and emphasize with them. The concept is to all the people who start things. You can experience all the processes necessary for the startup here. Fuse is operated for three major players. First, for the growth of startups. Second, for innovation in the traditional SMEs. Third, for human resource development of our employees. Working space, event space, and fabrication space. The event space hosts 1 or 2 events per week. Currently, there are over 250 members with startups, SMEs, and large companies registered. My purpose of coming to Silicon Valley is to build an ecosystem in the Hamamatsu area. First, I will study the Silicon Valley ecosystem under Dr. Desha at Stanford University, and then I will research ecosystem in Japan. I hope to research and implement what is necessary and possible to achieve rather than incorporate everything into regions. For this purpose, I will exchange opinions with you and make suggestions on how to make it better. 3 of the actions could be implemented during the year. I was able to attend weekly meeting of VCs to research as a visiting scholar to update them on trends and learn how to make investment decisions. I often interviewed them about the role of VC and how to deal with startups from my side. I shared this information with various departments on the Japanese side and held monthly study sessions. I believe it was a good opportunity to instill knowledge and interest. Through all this, I'd like to raise 2 issues. The first is global engagement for an original thinking bank. It's simple. Take an interest in the world and understand what is happening in our own business area. We had Dr. Desha speak at our company, and more than 100 people attended, including board members. Then we can think about how we need to change our own business in the future. Second, to increase the knowledge and experience of those who support businesses like ours. This is why This is why I have weekly meeting sessions with Dr. Desha to study the process evaluating startups. Finally, there is the fuse action I mentioned earlier that I'm aiming for. This year, our company's employees will participate as advisors to startups. In 2024, we want to build up our experience and knowledge and launch a loan for startups. In 2025, we'd like to launch the Fuse Fund to support local startups that challenge not only the domestic market, but also the global market. I will stay at US-ATMC for another year to continue my research. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. So I'm kind of curious, what has been the most difficult part of living in Silicon Valley?
It is difficult compared to Japan in my town. I think that it is different knowledge and human culture. Three things very different. Yeah, in Japan and US.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So you're being very diplomatic. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Dr. Dasher. I'm very honored to be here today. Let me introduce you a little about my company and my activity with Stanford. I'm Kyoko Yoshida. I'm working for Kawasaki Heavy Industry. Kawasaki is very well known about by the motorcycle, but in fact, we have a very variety of products. We manufacture industrial robot, gas turbine, airplane. I won't call everything, but as you can see, we have a bunch of products in the field of land, sea, air, wildlife. And we established Group Vision 2030 as our new vision to achieve. It is a strict concept, a safe and secure remote society, especially in the robot field, near future mobility, especially in delivery robot, VTOL, and personal electrolyzed vehicles, and also energy and environment solutions, especially in the field of supply chain of hydrogen growth. I belong into the innovation department, and so we, Kawasaki as a company, we are very focused on the open innovation. So we have a three concepts: rapid product development and launch through external collaboration, creating new value by incorporating the needs of the market into a product, and permeating innovative mind. So at this point, Dr. Dasher helped me to help Kawasaki to achieve this open innovation activity. My interest, and I'd like to introduce a little of my interest in research too. I'm interested in the Japanese companies CVC in Silicon Valley. How do Japanese companies manage CVC in Silicon Valley? And the strategic aspect of Silicon Valley-based CVC. So I research definition and place CVC inside a corporate strategy, goal, history, case studies, studies data, and interview and result. Since now I'm here, so I interviewed a lot of Japanese company, like CVC company directly. So I learned a lot of the kind of the real business voice. I'll share a little about my insight. What I'm interested is that each company has each CVC style. There are no two same CVC company, CVC company. So, and also CVC is just an antenna and touch point for startup means a new business in near future. So only having CVC is not enough to develop to the future business for the company. We need to M&A with business development and R&D, other corporate development activity is very important. And actually, it's very difficult. So I researched about this about 1.5 years, and this year is kind of the final year. So I very appreciate the Dr. Dasher and this precious opportunity in Stanford. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yoshida-san, and you know, one of the things about the visiting scholar community here is it doesn't really, the relationships don't end. Your term may end, but you'll always be in alone. And you know, hope to see you at some of these meetings in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll let you off the hook. You don't have to answer any questions.
Can you see? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the introduction.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see. Yeah, my name is Makiko Kawabe. Nice to meet you. I'm from Mitsubishi Research Institute. So today, firstly, I'd like to talk about the introduction of MRI, Mitsubishi Research Institute, and then I'd like to talk about what I did at Stanford. So MRI was established 1970s as a 100th anniversary of Mitsubishi company, aiming to introduce the function of think tank in Japan that leads the ways in information society at the time. So we have history of more than 50 years and conducted about 1,800 projects a year, mainly for the government in Japan and also for the private company in Japan. So MRI have long provided services through research, analysis, and design. You can see in this slide, ABC. But now our mission is bringing big changes to society, not only research, analysis, and design, but also social implementation in various fields such as energy, healthcare, mobility, digital transformation, etc. And also, MRI want to expand overseas market recently. We have identified Asia and Middle East as a key region for social issues and also for the Japanese companies to grow. So in 2020, it's the right of the midst of the pandemic. We bravely established representative office Hanoi in Vietnam and Dubai in UAE. And yeah, I personally have been professionally involved in the healthcare field. I mean, my major client was the Ministry of Health in Japan, so I've engaged in assisting the government in formulating related policies. So, but after MRI, I established overseas offices. I belong to both healthcare and wellness division and global business division, where I work to strengthen MRI network through joint workshop with the local Ministry of Healthcare or other international organizations like UNFPA or World Bank. So with this background here at Stanford, I focused on the comparison of startup ecosystem between Silicon Valley and Japan because the innovation is a key factor for a Japanese company to grow. So as you know, Japan is a superaged society with an aging population of 28.7%, and it's outstanding in the world. So in order to support this aging society, Japan established long-term care insurance system in 2000, but it's now facing financial issues. In order to resolve this situation, Japanese government trying to establish the integrated community care system, where the elderly can live their own lives within their own community until the end of their lives, but it's still on the way. So through my research at Stanford, in my opinion, as shown in this figure, to create such a system for healthy longevity with limited human resources. I think Japan will need to use technology and data utilization to provide care in a scientific manner without relying on the public insurance system through the collaboration both private and public sector more effectively. And finally, I'd like to briefly touch on Juliba's activities, Japanese women's initiatives in Bay Area. Under the strong leadership of Ashizawa Sensei, she will talk to you later. We established Juliba with the cooperation of US-ATMC. It is a networking to change the gender gap in Japan from Bay Area. So 4 meetups have been held so far, and with total of more than 100 women attending. And the reason why we created this type of networking is because unique challenges women faces in Japan. It is said that expats tend to occur in their 30s and 40s, right? And however, women also undergo major life stage changes like marriage, pregnancy, and childbirth. That means they need opportunities for overseas experience, and the reverse also happens. So in addition to usual networking, we try to grasp these realities through surveys in this summer. We try to cooperate with JETRO and JCCNC and do the survey, and we want to appeal to the public. And thanks to the activity of US-ATMC, I can gain a lot of perspectives, wide perspectives, not only healthcare, but also it's become wide for me. So I'd like to apply this experience to my next career. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Kaori. So you're going to continue with us for another year.
Yes.
Maybe with some different job responsibilities, but we won't get into that now. What I want to ask is, what surprised you the most after you moved to the Bay Area? About life or about Stanford or about anything? What was really different than you expected?
In one word, I think the way of thinking here is very positive. I mean, I engaged in the job project by the ministry in Japan. So yeah, I don't think that they but you know, yeah, the way is very different. So it is very
Okay.
for me.
So it can be surprising that people are so positive here.
Very, very optimistic.
Okay, thanks very much. That's great.
Hello everyone, I'm Kaori Nishibayashi from Mitsui Fudosan. Unfortunately, I can't attend in person today, but I'd like to introduce my company, my project, and my activities at Stanford from Zoom. This is a brief history of Mitsui Fudosan since it became independent from Mitsui conglomerate almost 80 years ago, and I just picked up very famous project here. I have no time to explain each of them, but just I want to mention that our company's DNA is creative and pioneering spirit, and we have always strived to satisfy people's need through town development. And since 2000, we have scaled up the town development both in Japan and in global. Currently, I'm supporting 2 major projects surrounded by red line. So I will explain each of them. One is Kashiwanaha Smart City, which is located 25 kilometers from central Tokyo, and it takes just 30 minutes by train from Akihabara in the heart of Tokyo. The development area is surrounded this orange line, and it is almost 300 hectares, equivalent to 50 baseball domes. The planned population is 27,000 by 2030. And this is the current view of Kashiwanaha. Many facilities and condos have been built around the station, but town development is still undergoing. The great strength of this smart city is there are fountains of cutting-edge knowledge from university, medical, and research institutions. So in order to maximize them, we promote town development collaborating with these academia. One more important thing I need to mention is its concept. This smart city is not a suburban area, which is convenient to go to Tokyo. We have a very important mission. As you know, Japan faces many issues such as superaging society, economic stagnation, and lack of resource and energy, and so on. If we solve these issues through town development, then we could be a world leader as a problem-solving city. So we set 3 themes: environmental symbiosis, health and longevity, and new industry creation. And as a method, creating innovation with academia, utilizing data for town development, and promote globalization. You may notice Stanford and Silicon Valley is the perfect place to learn all of these things. So that's why I came to Stanford as the first case in my company. So this is about Kashiwano Hamamatsu, and the other project is Tokyo Dome City, which Mitsui Fudosan carried out M&A 2 years ago. Tokyo Dome City is the largest and unique entertainment city featuring sports, music, art, and culture. Other than stadium, there are various facilities, and throughout the year, we hold a lot of events collaborating with Japanese famous anime. So every day, 100,000 people visit this site. And from now, we will like to expand our business for anybody. I mean, deliver Tokyo Dome entertainment beyond the borders utilizing technology. So my research focus at Stanford is, in a broader sense, how to build ecosystem for smart cities, including open innovation among academia, large firms, and startups, and industry trend in Silicon Valley. As a specific areas, I focus on healthcare, sustainability, and Web3. And lastly, as a brief summary of my activities during the stay at Stanford since last September, I mostly attended classes and various events held at Stanford as well as Silicon Valley, and went to fieldworks related to those areas. What I've learned so far is there is a very good ecosystem being built within Stanford because we see startups and alumni come to classes as guest speakers and teach students about their business or entrepreneurship, and students can do fieldwork or research utilizing rich network of professors. So it is very good opportunity for me to be able to learn not only theory, but also the latest business at the same time. And I can broaden my networks through Stanford. I won't go into details, but I'm currently collaborating with several companies I have connected through these classes or seminars on my project in Japan. So in conclusion, every day is exciting and new to me, which can only experience by coming here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nishibayashi. So I have one question for you. And you're still here in the US. So my question is, what one thing do you miss most from Japan?
Sophisticated service and hospitality.
Okay, that's a great answer. Thank you very much. Great, thank you so much for joining us in your busy schedule. Ashizawa Sensei had to go back to Japan early, so she is joining us from Japan today. And I'll let you take it from there. The floor is yours.
Thank you, and thank you, Dasha Sensei. Good morning, everyone from Tokyo. It is cloudy in Tokyo today. I miss California blue sky. Okay, my name is Michiko Ashizawa. I'm an associate professor. Oh, sorry. I'm associate professor at Yokohama City University. And Dasha Sensei mentioned before, I will join the faculty of Keio Business School this coming September. Okay, I returned back to Japan at the beginning of April. Since then, during my 8 months at Stanford, achieved the following 3 results. The first is related to my research interests. Specifically, my research question is, why does Stanford University generate so many outstanding entrepreneurs? I have interviewed 22 people, including the former Stanford president, Professor John Hennessy, and the directors of Stanford-related entrepreneurial education programs. I have posted 10 articles on Forbes Japan so far. I have been working on the project with US-ATMC colleague Ogawa-san and Nishibayashi-san. Thank you. I'm now planning to publish a book that analyzes the Stanford University entrepreneurial ecosystem. And also, I am preparing an entrepreneurial fellowship program at Keio Business School. Okay, and next, second is related to my life work in eliminating gender inequality. I started a community of Japanese expat women that has been growing in recent years, as Kawabe-san mentioned. This community is called JWEBA, which stands for Japanese Women's Initiative in the Bay Area. We held 4 meetings in about 6 months, each time more than 30 Japanese women gathered. Next August, coming next August, we will have a public event, JWEBA Summit. 3 research projects are in progress for the JWEBA Summit on August 1st. We will hold a suggestion session from the 3 research projects and 2 panels inspire sessions, inviting great guest speakers, including Dr. Dasher. We are looking forward to your participation. I started the project with my colleague, Kawabe-san, and Yoshida-san is also a member of the core team. US-ATMC is also cooperating with us. Thank you. The third is my small business education project. At the end of last year, 10 friends of my son, Japanese high school students, came from Japan and stayed in Palo Alto for a week. For most of them, it was their first experience abroad. I organized discussion opportunities with a Stanford professor, a venture capitalist, and a data scientist at Google. These experiences impacted them so much that one of them decided to study in the US for a year. For other 4 students are planning short-term study abroad in the US. It means half of the participants are returning back to United States this summer. In all these activities, Professor Dasher has given me a lot of advice and support. Without Professor Dasher, I couldn't achieve such great results. Kimberly-san and Brianna-san were also supportive. In addition, the relationship with all colleagues at US-ATMC has been excellent and has strengthened my research activities. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, Sensei, thank you very much for your kind comments. I want to ask you a question. Besides the blue skies, is there something from a university like Stanford you would like to bring back to your university in Japan?
Okay, I think the most impressive thing during staying in Stanford University is about the culture, very positive culture. I remember Dr. Dasher, Professor Dasher always encouraged me, I can do it. And I will support all of Japanese students and all of the people in Japan in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I want to say, thanks to all of our visiting scholars because it's a great group. And we have a community now. For many years, we only had 2 or 3 visiting scholars one year. And now we've got enough that we've really kind of got a sense of community happening. And I'm very proud of all of you and what you have accomplished and what you are continuing to do while you're here. And Sensei, you are definitely still part of the group, still one of our alumni and will always be. So we have maybe 2 or 3 minutes if anybody has a final question or comment you would like to have. The floor is open. Sure enough, we're a bunch of Asia specialists. Thanks again for coming, everyone. If you can join us in our Zoom webinar early tomorrow morning for our India dialogue, we would welcome you. We have our seminar coming up next Tuesday, which will be the final one in our series on entrepreneurship. And Kimberly is going to be our guest moderator to talk about the rise of diversity in entrepreneurship ecosystems in Asia. And we will be continuing to have programs. We've got the Innovation Awards coming up in July. Always happy to see you. Please come again. Thanks very much.